Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome back to the COD League. It's your boy Miles. Momo will be joining me as well. I think you're in a box either here or here.
I'm doing
not
very
sure
well.
just
I'm
yet,
excited.
but
It's
we'll
been
get
way
to that
too
when
long.
we
I've
do.
sat
It
and
is
watched
very,
Ben
very
and
good to
Chance
be
cast
back.
another Game
Phil, how you
5.
doing,
It's
brother?
only the right way to kick things off. And yeah, I'm ready to get into game number 2. I know we've got a few steps before we get into that, but COD Competitive is back. The CDL is back. I am so excited just to jump on board and just get fully stuck in with this.
Oh, mate, it's been good. It's been really, really interesting. In terms of the process of getting this whole thing running online, I mean, I'm in my home,
Yeah.
or I'm in an apartment in Los Angeles. You're in Vegas. I mean, we're all over the country, literally, right now. Everyone is working their literal buttocks off to try to make this work out. And so far, so good. It's been a cool day. And again, Ben and Chance had to get a Game 5. Why wouldn't they? But so far, so good. The next matchup we have for you is going to be a very, very fun one. We do have Toronto going up against Florida. Now, this is going to be a very cool one, obviously, because they're two very fun teams to watch. Obviously, one of the funniest teams in the league, and a team who are going through a couple of changes, Phil. And that change of Pristine going onto the bench and now bringing in
For me,
Ferry,
obviously, I think it was a big
one.
talking
We've
point.
touched
We
on
obviously
this a
spoke
little
about
bit,
it
in the
briefly
build-up to
off
the league, but
off stream as
what does
well.
this
But
mean
Ferro,
for
I
you?
think, had a very much pressurized entrance to the CDL. He's not like a newcomer like some of the LA Guerrillas that are just brand new, fresh onto the scene. People know about this guy. People have watched him play for years, watched him in the pro scene, but he had a very, very tough entrance in LA. And again, this was coming off with like 0.94s, 0.93s, 0.68 in Search and Destroy, which people know him for and love him for. But overall, it was a very tough entrance to it. He had very strong opposition, should I say. I think it was Dallas and FaZe. I could be wrong in saying that, but that's off my head. But I think all eyes on Ferro, question marks around Prestini. But again, I think Ferro, this is his time to step up and really kind of claim his mark, if that makes sense.
It's an amazing opportunity for him to have, and again, for Pristini, a time for him to take a bit of a, again, the toll these players to really grind it day in, day out. A lot of pressure on their shoulders. And again, a lot of these players very, very young. So
Right.
Pristini, a much-needed break. I think he sent this himself. This is not our word, it's his. So we hope him the speediest of recoveries. We hope he's doing well. We hope he's enjoying the game still. I mean, with Warzone coming out, I'm sure he's having a lot of fun playing that. But again, for his teammates to be able to take a step back and be able to give that position to Ferro, I think is massive. I think it shows a real maturity of his character to not necessarily.
It certainly is, and I think it's one of the hardest things to do, especially, so fresh into the franchise league as well. You go from being a world champion, being teaming with your twin brother, to kind of taking a bit of a venture into a different team and almost being the most experienced player on that team, to now be in the position that, Prestini is in. It's very difficult, and I think, speaking for both of us, we wish Prestini the best. I hope to see him back wherever that may be. He's one of the most entertaining players to watch. He's fast, aggressive, and I'm excited to see what happens with Prestini. But again, flip side, Ferro is a fantastic player, and I think it's one of those where we really see what he can bring to the CDL, how he can change the Mutineers. Because again, this is in that they go on and win. I'm not sure.
Well, we will soon be finding out, my friends. When we come back after this very, very quick break, we've got Toronto versus Florida.
Okay.
Hello. Talking now. Miles talking now. Hello.
Right, a quick scoop. I don't have the keys. You?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the COD League. Hopefully my mouth and the sound coming out of my mouth is now synced up somewhat. Again, apologies, friends. First time we're getting all this done. First time I've had the opportunity to work with the crew now. So we're going to make this work, friends. One way or another. Toronto versus Florida up first. Philippe Momo Whitfield. Are you there, my friend?
I certainly am. I hope you're still there. I've not gone anywhere. I'm still sat down, ready to get into this game. But I think the players are joining up. We're, of course, getting everything lined up as well. But I'm certainly here, Miles, and I'm ready to go.
Ready and raring to go. In a few short moments, we'll be taking a look at the game fuel keys to victory. We received these, and we've got Toronto's up here. Of course, a new roster, new beginnings. Forget the past and come out strong with a new look. This is an amazing thing for me, Phil. Again, Toronto's got a village of players to work with.
Indeed. They have the roster to kind of chop and change, and I think that's great, but I don't think too much change is, the best. You don't want to be kind of going out and in of different teams and rosters. But again, I think these guys need to make their mark. Their percentages aren't great, but I think, again, new roster, new beginnings, like you said, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, there's our US Air Force quickscope on its way as well. And again, for a squad with so many players to work with, it's interesting to see exactly what they end up doing with that roster. And not a luxury that Florida has to work with, I must admit. But still, that one change is not as significant to work with as maybe a 3-man change or a 4-man change when we see these rosters in game.
I certainly agree with you. I think it's one of those where some people may say having a 6-team or a 6-man roster or a 7-man roster is certainly beneficial because you can make that substitute. But really, apart from that, you don't want to be making too much, but you want to be making the right ones. I think Florida, all eyes on Pharaoh, obviously with Prestini doing what he's been doing. Toronto, we tune in now. We don't even know what roster we're going to get at some points. Jokes aside, I know, we know the rosters, but I think it's one of those which you've really got to outline and look at and see which is the best 5.
Well, let's see, here we go. We're now, I believe, in game with the Florida Mutineers going up against Toronto Ultra. The first match of the series is going to be a Ramaza hard point. Let's get straight into this one. Phil, and again, a couple of eyes on. There's obviously a lot of Florida fans. The first time we've had the pleasure of casting over Florida, I believe, since, I want to say, Atlanta? But still,
it's been a while.
To see. Classic Metals Methods Cammy Vance will be the Ultra lineup today.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing to take from this is Looney, and I know the game's going on in the background, but Looney is a player with so much experience. I kind of put him alongside the likes of, Methods and Classic, the American players that have been around this scene for so long, but not having someone like him, an in-game leader, how will that change Toronto? But the Mutineers starting strong with the first 24 points on the board as the rotation to the electrical shop is down. Frosty already in and about, but he's going to be taken down as Pharaoh, the man that everyone has their eyes on. Of course, finding a nice double.
Yeah, nice double indeed. This guy's player on your screen, trying to lock down that middle of the map. He's trying to prevent those members of Toronto Ultra getting across towards the previous hard point, but now also allowing a position for his teammates to push through. And here we go, right through the smoke, towards the back of the white van, trying to create these openings now to push forward. It's going to be Frosty leading the charge straight into the guns of Bant. He's going to get cleaned up. Havoc on the back door. He can't do anything either as Classic finds his second. Morks now steps up to the plate. There's one. He's going to have to try to make these instant kills work out as best as possible, but there's not a lot of map space to work with right now, as it looks like Toronto will continue to hold.
Yeah, Toronto have those back spawns, of course, but actually in that hard point right now, it is the Mutineers. Sky's finding a nice double. I think Sky's a player which, you know, isn't the superstar that everyone kind of sees on social media, but he's a player who just absolutely slays out a lobby sometimes. He's got 4 kills to his name, and we will see more the kills rather than the objective coming in from him, but it's a bloodbath by the shop, and the rotation will go down with 20 seconds left. Morks is the one rotating and trying to hold things over towards that side of the map, but Mutineers are going to have to back off, let the last 15 go in the hands of Ultra, and then just kind of work their way back up with the barbershop. Now, an interesting thing about this, Miles, is you want to hold it, but you don't want to get trapped here. So just kind of watch that minimap, watch these green arrows, or turquoise, whatever you want to call it, and how they play this. Positioning is key.
Yeah, positioning is going to be key. Straight into the hands of the Florida Mutineers they go, as they break social quarantine right now and all put themselves in the barbershop. Can't be doing that right now, mates. Morks, though, is going to try to cut these players out on the push right up front. Gets a little overeager, takes down one. Frosty from up high now as he tries to make the upper portion of the map. He only will do with a nice 2-piece there. That's a lovely way to keep this play going. The clock still ticking in the hands of the Mutineers. And again, you're right, Phil. We want to hold it, but they don't want to hold it too close because they're going to continue to spawn in that far right-hand side of the map.
And that's what they're doing so well here. You actually see Pharaoh pushing up there. You can see the numbers and the names through, of course, these walls. Of course, the players can't see that, but pushing up, getting aggressive. Morks is showing a prime example of this now with 20 seconds left. Taking names, pushing forward, will eventually get taken down. But with rotation, Pharaoh is the man already. Top construction here. Trying to find one more, sniff him out. Cammy, where are you? Around the corner. MP5 poking out. Pharaoh with a nice double. And talking to Pharaoh, finds the third, doesn't finish it off. But he's going to go back for a second bite. His teammate Skies has found himself a kill. Pharaoh going off right now. He's on a 5-kill streak, highlighted in the bottom right of your screen. Of course, there with 11 seconds objective, working towards that dead silence. I think he might have actually just popped it, should I say there. Great stuff from Pharaoh.
Pharaoh, new kid on the block, doing a brilliant job of holding down those early pushes on the hard point. But now we have it back in the hands of Toronto. Frosty from up high. Again, pushing those players out. They are going to have to clear one more in there. It was Methods. Couldn't quite cook up anything too special there as Metals now, the young Spaniard of the roster, moving in his way over that top catwalk side. The push from down low, slowly but surely developing. But no, the Florida Mutineers have held the line very admirably. They're pushing these players right back. Now you've got 4 men on point, and look at that. Number 2 on the minimap is already making a slow and steady push towards the next hard point. Great heads-up play from Florida. They're looking very, very strong in the scoreline, showing it.
Yeah, I think this is just the Slate side. You look at Pharaoh, 15 kills, 13 for Frosty, double digits for Skies as well. And on the flip side of things, for Ultra, Methods and Cammy have just broken that double digit. A slow start for Metals, as he'll be trying to change that around, but as just that 1 second ticks away, we are going to see this rotation now. Here we are on the hard point. Havoc pushing through. Dead Silence popped again. Positioning is key. You heard me say it at the start of the game. Skies is trying to get those little corners cut off as well. Cammy trying to find Pharaoh up top. He's going to flank around, find him, and he's might be rewarded with a kill. Oh my goodness! I was going to say rewarded with a kill, but he's going to be shut down, turn and burn just like that. And getting a little out of hand here. This could be a 100-point difference between Mutineers and Ultra.
That's huge, man. And it's one of those plays where you feel like, it's like when you're playing Warzone, you've just been brought back from the gulag, you're running through, you've got your gear, you're like, yeah, I'm all good, and then bang, you get shot from behind. He spent so much time to get absolutely nothing out of that one. It's just so difficult right now for Toronto to get anything going now as the Mutineers put that lead to a 100-point at the moment. And Frosty in on point, the shots are there, but not much more as Cammy finds some retribution. The final 10 seconds now of the ruins as we go back over towards the center of the map, back over towards that first hard point of the bridge. And Methods, he's lining up to try to take some control of that mid while his teammates pick up the remaining time and now get across map.
Okay, well, 60 seconds left here. Plenty of time to bring this one back. Classic. Making his way up top as well. You see Morks centering himself again with that high ground. 19 bullets in the chamber here, but he's going to use his grenade first of all. Tag him up, take one down as well. Moving around, staying alive. And again, it just seems like the Mutineers, they're in control of this game. Whether they're on the hard point or not, they're able to break once more. Now to soak up the time. Havoc with 3. Incredible stuff once again. Again, this MP5 running riot. Havoc is unstoppable right now with 4 kills.
It's his 4th kill in a row, man. He just can't seem to make a mistake right now. He was looking quite negative a moment ago. It was like 9-9. Now all of a sudden he's 13-11 on a 4 spree. There's a 5th around the corner. Is Dead Silence just about to crop it out? And again, 15 seconds on the clock here in this next first hard point, rather, of the second set of rotations. And it's all been Florida. They have just taken this first map by the scruff of the neck. Cammy may find 3 there, but over towards the rotate. Once again, Toronto in control. Method's lying down back. 3 players there on the electronic shop on the right-hand side, and Bance watching the cut across on the left. This is a good spot to be in. How much time can Toronto get out of this first push? This is going to be a clean break, though, already. 1 player dead. Already Florida have managed to cut their way through. Now the reinforcements, they've got to get down on the point. No one's going to get it done. Skies just kicks his way through the front door. 201 and 92. He gets 5 in a row. It's all but done, man. Toronto got to get on point now, because this is looking very, very dire.
Yeah, I mean, a great showcase of slaying there once more from Skies and the boys of the Mutineers. They didn't get rewarded any time for that, but they did just kind of put a hold or a pause for Ultra. Again, that 100-point lead still evident as you see 201 to 104. And we are going to see that rotation towards the barbershop. And previously, this was all the Mutineers. We do have 1 player on rotation. That's going to be Cammy trying to get in and amongst that. But still, 15 seconds left. Another contest looking very, very strong for the Mutineers. Cammy, he flanked early. He's going to be finally put down in the barbershop, firmly in the hands of the Mutineers. They can finish it on this next one. It's going to be difficult to do so, but don't rule it out.
Yeah, Toronto won so many hearts and minds. Incredibly close games against incredibly difficult opponents, but now they've got a brand new one, and Florida making it look a little easy at this point in time, but it is far from over just yet. Mork's trying to watch those players as they cut through towards barbershop. Through the smoke, he will pounce, and the hip fire doesn't quite find much. Bance just about gets taken down there on the push, and here we go. Still, Toronto in the hard point for the time being, as those final few players are flushed out. Florida now spawning on the right-hand side. They've got the close spawns. 25 points now for the win here in map 1, and Bance, as he charges through mid, there's not a lot going on as the defense holds, and I could be seeing a Florida win here, Phil.
I think most likely 235 to 120. Toronto, they've been blown out of the water. It feels like the Mutineers turned up game 1, and of course it's still early in the series, but a quick check at those stats. Medals, a slow game in 11 and 23. But you look at Skies, we talked about his slaying ability before the game, 26 and 14. We see objective work in the hands of Havoc as well, over 2 minutes of kill time. But Miles, it looks like it's all going to be wrapped up with Pharaoh finding a little bit of pistol action. He's not going to find anything, but 250 to 122, a convincing victory for map number 1.
Oh, a very convincing victory. What a start for Florida. 5-man's standing in a hard point, gets it done pretty well. Gotta now relocate myself across the room, friends. I'm not gonna lie to you, as working from home situation is varied for everyone. I'm now in position. But yeah, what a great start for Florida. I can't believe, to be honest, at 122, I thought Toronto would have a bit more fight in them, but it's a 10-man jigsaw puzzle, and you have to find that perfect fit. It's so difficult. Well, hang on, Phil. Wait, Phil. I've got to cut you there, Phil. I've got to cut you there, brother. I'm so sorry. We've talked about Florida. They've managed to get map 1 win. Let's roll a quick videotape. Let's have a little look at the boys from Florida. Or not. I'm not sure yet. We're still working that one out. It's all on me right now. Thousands and thousands of hours of hard work lead to this moment.
The Mutineers will go in with a small lead. The Mutineers will have the advantage.
Now they're on your point. Look how close it is, Joe! A millimeter! What a round! Good old Florida, what a way to start that series. And again, Phil, are you too surprised at the caliber of this team and the way they've opened this series up?
I'm not. I think they had a point to prove. I think they needed to come out hot, and I think obviously we talked about Florida of those being like the players coming into the CDL, obviously the franchise year, a lot of them being overlooked. I think Toronto, we didn't really know what they were going to bring. But again, we spoke with Methods, in an interview ourselves, and we heard only positive things, and I thought this would be closer. I will be honest. I kind of gave the edge towards Florida, but I thought this would be closer. It's only game 1. We're not jumping the gun here. It's a long series ahead of us. If we were just seen from our first series, of course, going all 5, but a very strong showing from Ramaza, our point there, and excited to see what Pharaoh brings in search.
Well, now we've seen Florida. Let's have a look at the team video now for the Toronto Ultra. Take it away, Toronto.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment we've all been
Toronto, it's an interesting squad to say the least with that many players on the roster. And Phil, we touched on it a little bit before, but Looney being on the bench, a surprise, I think, to everyone.
I think a huge surprise. I think a huge surprise when you look at it, especially when you have, such leadership in that. Does that go straight to Methods or Classic or whoever it may be? You've certainly got a strange mix, but one that can certainly work. And Metal's coming off the bench as well. You kind of just question a lot of things, but it's not just down to the players, of course, management, everything there at the Toronto Ultra. This is their decision, and I think it's unfair to kind of judge it off one game. I'm keen to see how this series goes, but so far, I'm impressed with the Mutineers. Skies, again, he's just a player which lights up a feed now and again.
Very, very big fan of Skies. Of course, that Maps and Mo's brought to you by the US Air Force. We'll be coming up a little bit later. It's a long series, friends. Will it be a Game 5? We're not sure. This is, of course, Mars and Momo, not Benson and Chance. You can guarantee it with those two, let's face it. But Phil, so far, I mean, if we do talk about, Florida, they're very, very strong players indeed. And again, an exciting, exciting series ahead of us. I think when it comes to Florida, that Search and Destroy could be a turnaround point for them with the way that Toronto looks a little disheveled right now.
Yeah, I think Florida, they need to run away with this. They need to just build upon this momentum, use this as kind of a fuel to the fire almost. They're all very, very hungry, and a lot of drama obviously around the Florida Mutineers with Prestini. And I think it's kind of a real big time to make that point, to prove that point of this is why we've changed, this is what we wanted, this is the player that we wanted, and it can work. And I think, yes, there could have been harder matches. Toronto, there's certainly better and worse teams in the league than them, but, I think this is a good starting point for them going up against a new Toronto, if you like. So, interested to see how this goes. Again, going into S&D, I am leaning a little bit towards the Mutineers.
Yeah, I think for the Mutineers as well, this is a real confidence builder potentially for them going in a search against a team that maybe we've all theorized that a team with this many players on it, you could actually get some amazing practice in. You basically scrim your A team to B team within the good purple flag there. Here we go. Right off the rip, a couple of kills either side. Cammy's first blood will be answered back immediately. That bomb going down there in the pipes room as the transition towards B has been halted for now. Methods still alive, licks the wounds and gets away.
Yeah, when all said and done, after the chaos has unfolded, is a 2v3 now. Pharaoh and Skies, the two most talked about we see from map number 1. All left alone. Bomb in the middle of nowhere, and Pharaoh is going to have to wait till round number 2. It's all up to Skies here. Talking about the bomb there, it's just around that boiler room in the center, and of course, making a lot of noise moving around here, Skies. Looking for a pick.
Well, first round goes to Toronto. Again, we kind of, I don't know, this is the part of me that just thinks that Toronto could at any moment just flip a switch, and this could be a 6-0. I mean, they've been holding back on us, I feel. It's that idea of having an entire roster to practice against. They've just got so much more experience in the bag when it comes to everyday scrims, right? Surely.
Yeah, I mean, I look at these two teams, and I think it's very close. When I say I'm leaning one way or another, it's only slightly, and I think at any point, any team can turn up. We saw, of course, that in series number 1, but there's something, I'm expecting at the likes of Pharaoh going into Search and Destroy. Havoc, we know, is a great Search and Destroy player. And we'll have to wait and see what Toronto bring, but you bring a very good point in the fact that the 10-man roster of Ultra, they can probably play it, scrim it more than anyone here. But on the defense now is the Mutineers. Crosses first, as Pharaoh does second as well. Sky's looking to tag one more up, but he's going to have to backtrack for now.
Havoc, just a cheeky little cut there from that circular fan. Cleans up that map. Let's find out from there on Skies. And again, now you've got two members of the Florida Mutineers and the entire roster of Toronto Ultra. So this offensive round has been so clean. Metals finds one more. His second kill of the round. And Havoc will clean up Bants. There we go. Lovely bit of work as Toronto. Another round to the good. All of these predictions about Florida being the guys to take the S&D so far. Phil, are you second guessing now? Are you doubting it? What's going on?
I mean, not really. I think, again, if I was to pick one, it would have been Mutineers. Right now, yes, of course, Toronto up by 2, and there have been 2 very, very strong rounds. I'd like to think Mutineers will adapt to this, but, the momentum that I told you about, obviously, the Florida kind of need to run away with this and make a statement. Toronto have done a great job in just halting that instantly. Going into map number 2, it feels like they've not let the first map affect them. They've come out. We see Methods, Cammy, and Metals, all 3 kills each. They've only got 3 deaths as a team. Vance and Methods just added to the pain of the Mutineers, though.
I know, right? Third first blood in a row now for the Ultra. Cammy finds the first 2. Now, Classic, what will you do? with a man down. The first time we're seeing a little bit of a well, not even a disadvantage, but a bit of a problem situation now for Toronto. They try to make their way on the defense. Bance managing to catch the flank here, so just being able to put pressure on those players isn't going to allow his teammates to push up through the front. Mork's very, very aware of the flank, but here we go. The smokes are up. Here comes the big push, but it's not going to be from below. It's going to be from above. Mork's shot in the back. He's not going to be going down just yet. Metal's now making his way through Forest. Cammy, he applies the pressure there on the point as Bance manages to stab Skies somewhere in the back end there. And there you go, friends. Toronto with their 3rd round in a row.
And again, it was 3rd round, 3rd first blood. This is just consistency, and it's showing here in the Search and Destroy. Mutineers look a little bit lost, and whether they change things up going into round number 4, I'd like to see, but credit to Ultra. They're looking hot in Search and Destroy, and that is exactly what they needed. Of course, if you just joined us, it's currently 1-0 to the Mutineers, and it was a very strong showing in the half point as well, but we'll jump back on board with this offensive team. That, of course, being Toronto. It's going to be Classic. He's picking up that ball. See where he's off.
It just feels like Toronto have got so much more confidence. They're willing to move across the map in a lot faster ways than anyone there on the Mutineers, who just seem to be sort of stuck in the mud somewhat. Smokes up, the Classic crosses over, right on towards the bomb site. Metal's backing him up as well. We are going to be seeing them get that bit closer now, trying to find these kills over the top in the crates. Classic, though, doesn't need the help. He's going to get on his own. Frosty's down and out. That's going to be a 2v4 situation right now with Toronto. Ultra once again in the driver's seat.
See that bomb being planted here. And there it is. The time will be changed. 45 seconds on the clock. Metals finds Morks and Miles. You asked me a question at the end of round 2 about my Search and Destroy pick. I'm willing to say right now it's looking very different than how I thought it would go. But credit to Ultra. 4 rounds back to back. They're looking very, very strong.
Oh, it's just ridiculous right now. This is a very, very dominant Search and Destroy performance from Toronto. Another round. Can they go flawless here? It is possible. The timing has been sublime, especially in the offensive rounds. Watch Cammy. Those 2 first bloods he's got off the rip have been brilliant both times. And again, I don't think we're seeing too much different. Here we go. Nazer up. Vance is going to make this forward. Nothing able to be found with that one. And Cammy, though, once again, that confidence, just the pace he's set already. He's pushed himself far, far forward here. That stun's going to give up the position he's got. His teammates are going to be there to make something work. Now, Morks throws something a little bit more dangerous than a concussion and will find that kill there onto Cammy.
60 seconds. Still to play with. Everyone but Cammy, of course, up and about. Cammy going down first. Maybe this gives something that the Mutineers can work with. You'll be looking for a bomb plant onto B, and it looks like that's what's going down. You see that marker in the top middle. Finally making it across. Metals finds his 5th in a row, though. Frosty by a Semtex. He will fall. Morks' foot's going to be stuck out, and Classic's going to use the Semtex. It's point perfect here. As now the dead silence pop doesn't matter for Bance. It's looking as convincing as ever. The Mutineers, what has happened?
Oh, man. I think the entire squad's going to have to walk the plank after this one. 5 straight rounds for Toronto. 1 more and we'll just go straight to Dom, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good, right?
Not for Florida. Oh, boy. What a... Turn this one around, friends. We saw Ferro try and make an adaptation there, bringing out the snipe. But interesting note in that last one, the first 3 kills were all Semtex kills. Everyone is throwing just peaches thus far. And here we go, Florida. 1 more chance. Backs are against the wall now. There's no more room for error. On defense, they have to survive this onslaught now from Toronto. Toronto making their way in towards A. It's a very, very fast move. But there are 2 players there on the defense managing to get themselves in position. Ferro goes right through. He takes up tons of damage in the first fight, and the second one is going to be over before it even starts. Method's now lining up for the push, and this is blistering aggression right now from Toronto. Straight onto the site. It's almost a full take, but again, Morks is going to be there to make this a little bit harder for them. Can he find any more kills, Phil? That's the real question.
Well, he has to at this point. It was so bizarre as well. Florida have seen success previously on this map and mode. They're 3-3 on the mode. They're beating teams like Chicago. They're beating teams like London. However, it looks like it ain't looking good versus Toronto. It's a 1v1. Classic versus Frosty. And 1 kill separates Toronto from the clean sweep. Shout out once again to our observers. They're working as hard as anyone here to bring you all the action. And the dead silence has been popped. Frosty just up top. Oh my word.
Oh,
finally finds him. It's a 6-0 sweep. Game 2's done.
And just like that, game 2 is over. Wow. Toronto Ultra with the clean sheet, and it comes down to a 1v1. Classic has the nerve, he holds the line, and he just managed to sniff out Frosty even after the dead silence play had finished. Wonderful stuff. I mean, a sublime execution, Phil. Where did it go wrong for Florida? Round after round after round.
I mean, Cammy didn't have the best of hard points. He then puts up a big double-digit haul as well on the Search and Destroy. Where it went wrong, though, it was literally from the first couple of seconds into that game, and it didn't get any better. I don't really know exactly to point the finger. A lot of people will be going, where's Prestini at this point? Of course, the memes will be flying around, but I want to showcase just exactly how good Toronto were. Big 6-0.
Disgusting stuff. When we come back after the break, friends, more COD action. We've got Domination coming up after this break.
Everyone's saying my mic.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Stay connected to what matters most with the best value in wireless. Scuff Gaming, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the COD League. We're coming up to map number 3 in this series of the Florida Mutineers versus Toronto Ultra, and I think the Florida Twitter put it best. We're just not going to talk about this. We're just not going to talk about what happened in that search and destroy. It was a very, very clean 6-0. Cammy went off. The whole Toronto squad looked great. We're not going to talk about it, but we will talk about it. Phil, that was a smacking, right?
It really was. It was over so fast, it's hard to kind of break down, analyse, and don't get me wrong, I'm missing the desk heavily now. This is something that be able to do, but Vero was incredible, I think, from game 1, but we didn't see that from game 2. We didn't see that search and destroy presence, if you like, that I was expecting.
No, of course, that's Scuff player of the game. It's your boy Pharaoh. It was an absolute tear. He went on a 5 spree. Disgusting, disgusting stuff. And again, that opening map was very, very strong. The Ramaza hardpoint was brilliant for the Florida Mutineers, but not really able to replicate that coming up into the Scuff play of the game. But of course, Pharaoh, an absolute nuisance on the map. He was disgusting. Pretty much from start to finish, but this in particular was a blinder.
It really was, and I think it was such a good way to start things off. Don't get me wrong, I know we're going into map 3, and the second one, like I said, the Mutineers, they just want to forget about it, and rightly so, being 6-0'd and just being wiped out as clean and as precise as that was. Toronto have got to be feeling great going into, obviously, map number 3. Next one is domination, of course. I think we are sticking with Gunrunner, and the stats don't lie. I mean, for both of these teams going into it, it's a negative for both, a 0-1 for Florida and a 1-2 for Toronto, but you got some more, I guess, more experience on the map on this situation for Toronto. But, you know, they took down London on this very map and mode. We'll see whether they can do it once again. But judging by that 6-0 that they just did, I think they can do anything right now.
Yeah, it was a very, very slow start in the first respawn no map. So, again, I'm worried, Phil, that although we come into the domination, even after the great performance in Search and Destroy, if Toronto have with the sort of, let's say, the chops to hold up against Florida in the respawn game modes, and against domination is literally non-stop. It's not like in Hardpoint where you have a breather from rotation to rotation. In Dom, it is go, 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 go from the very, very onset of the round. I'm just not sure if this Toronto squad has what it takes yet as a respawn team to have that fluidity to work with each other on the fly against a squad that's already so aggressive like Florida.
It is, and it's one of those things I'm not sure, obviously, whether we've shown it. It's a little bit different, as I'm sure you guys can imagine, but I think it's such an important one to win for Toronto as well, just to kind of go one up on this, because our fourth map is going to be Hardpoint Hackney Yard, and that's something we've seen no success from Toronto at all. We've just seen them lose a Hardpoint, I think, going into a Hackney where there's 0-3 on that. I think that's something that they could lose. So if Mutineers are to come out hot here and bounce back in the respawn, they could close this out in 4. So a real key swinging map, I think, for this series alone.
Oh, here we go, Florida. The pressure's on. If you can get it closed out here, you make yourself a free win in map 4. But we will see. That Gunrunner domination is just coming up. And again, domination, friends, for those of you who don't know, it's the one you play in the playlist almost religiously. One of the most popular game modes in Call of Duty history. We'll make a slight change with the round edition, but we'll keep you well informed as we roll into this one. Again, Toronto, a very, very important map for them to try to win here. And in we go, friends. Tied up 1-1 so far in the series. This is a Group A matchup here in the Dallas home series. And boy, is it good to be back, I must admit. All things considered, it's a little different, as I've rolled across the room now and I've taken a seat in the chair, ready to rock and roll, and so is Morks. Frosty now on the rip, in from behind, and B is looking very, very Floridian right now, Phil.
Yeah, look at Floridian is great.
I think that's what we call them. I'm not sure.
I think you're spot on. The kill feed is very much in favor of the Mutineers right now. B is in control as well for Florida. C will go back into their hands as well. And this is really where they want to be. They want to have this 2-cap. They want to set up strong and, you know, just kind of sit back, wait, hold on to this, and then maybe pick up some kills. And dare they do it, go for a triple. But the kill feed as well, it is all green. Or turquoise, as I say once more. I don't even know what color that is, but it's Mutineers that are coming out on 15-8 right now. B and C are in the hands of Florida.
I think you're right, mate. It's a sort of nice teal or a turquoise. I'm sure somebody...
it's a beautiful colour.
Oh, it's a lovely colour, especially when it's getting splattered all over the walls like that by methods on the push. Any chance now as they make their way in towards B for Toronto. Trophies are up. Forward position those designed to intercept any sort of flying projectiles coming their way. So that counts for stuns, nades, you name it. Now you can touch the vehicles in Warzone, so fun, kids. Go rampant. Here we go, on the B. Toronto now have made it neutral, going for the full capture. A nice kill from Methods there. Got to keep this position held, though. Metals is there trying to reinforce. Classic comes in and filled the gap. Immediately, they're doing what they can to keep the water out of this slowly but surely sinking ship. And here we go, Florida. They've managed to punch back on a B. The flag in the hands of Toronto for now, but for how long can Cammy hold this position alone?
Yeah, and C was actually neutralized for a second there, so no points were going in the hands of Mutineers. And it's a strong shot, strong jump in points as well for Toronto. They now have control of A and B. A quick look at that minimap, you see the control of the minecarts just changing hands. The secure on B could be coming in as well. Morks with the AR does come through, but Cammy answers back with that glorious Semtex there. So close yet so far away, it seems to be capturing B. Still in the hands of Toronto. Havoc having to back off, body slam through the door, trying to find a second. Not going to happen.
These guys are just lying prone in positions. I mean, never underestimate the ability to just put your belly to the mat and find those kills, really. catch these players out. Sky's still going in the spot though. Methods finally puts that run to an end, and again the kills just keep on flowing through. Right now, I mean, we're looking at 7 and a 3 for Havoc. Havoc, a very aggressive player. We love to see him move around the map extremely quickly as the battle for B continues to rage. However, C has now gone into the hands of the Mutineers. So, A-spawn for those players there of Toronto, that far left-hand side of the map. They're going to make a very dangerous run right now through the minecarts into Skies. And this is a tough spot to be in right now. Florida have got to hold them in place. Toronto, do what you can to flood mid-map. Do what you can to flood out through forest maybe. You have to make a long wrap and a decisive break here on this hold, because this is starting to look real good for the Mutineers.
Yeah, and again, with 2 minutes left, as you know, we'll swap sides, we'll flip things over. There's not too much time to play with here. It's very back and forth, but a strong kill feed there for Toronto. All white, all looking good as they do jump back onto B. C still in the hands of the Mutineers now as Frosty and Pharaoh combine. This might be a bit of a wrap here. Over towards the home flag. You see number 4, that's going to be Pharaoh, maybe edging his way through the forest towards A, but on screen it's going to be Havoc. Senses 1, will find it. That's 3 kills back to back, and Pharaoh now looking for these spawn kills. He knows it all too well, and that's going to be Bant suffering for 1. A pre-stun into the boxes will find another, and Pharaoh might be jumping on the flag. I don't think he's going to get it, but it's going to enable his team to take over B. Metals on the flank, though, will find 2. I think B was secured for a second there, but I'm sure it'll change back.
Yeah, great spot for Pharaoh. Metals trying to do the exact same, you know, getting behind the opposing team, try to slow down the push of reinforcements. Now a very, very quick secure from Toronto. They're under the B flag. Immediately now maintaining that mid-map presence. Watch those 2 players as well. Now going for the trip cap. Toronto, they're going all in. Frosty, though, he's going to slow this play down with that push there from Pipes. Up and about, smoke goes through, right onto the point. He and his teammate now neutralizing B. It may be a big change here as Toronto possibly bit a little bit too much off there. Will when they make a play towards A though, it's on to Havoc. No one able to hit that push through Forest. Now he's going to be going for it, but they've got solid map presence right now in Florida. They just don't give any space, and if they do, they can reclaim it immediately from these pushes from Toronto.
Yeah, and as you'll know, playing it yourself, Miles, I mean, being pushed back into this back ace spawn is horrendous. It's horrible to get out of. You're trying to push through boxes, you're getting pushed and pinched from everywhere. Forest is, of course, the high ground. You've got the middle high ground, which you see Metals trying to battle back at, but all this time that they're putting in to try and get back into it, there's only 20 seconds left. The Mutineers are certainly going to be going in with, of course, a positive slaying record. You see at the top left there, +2, +1, +3, +7 for Pharaoh. You kid on the box, we talked about it before. But it's all the double digits for the kills. And we see a 20 lead going into side number 2. And of course, if you're holding 2 flags for a minute, you are going to gain around 12 points for that. So I almost look at this and I see this to like a 90 seconds to 2-minute advantage almost. That's the way I sometimes think about it in domination. Can Toronto do the same? I think so, but it's going to be a tough ask. I did outline that, you know, their record on this isn't great.
It's not a great record. But records are made to be broken and changed.
I like that.
Flip to those B-sides, baby. Here we go. Once more onto the breach, and this is a very, very important map win for Toronto if they can get it again. We talked about that map number 4 not being a very good map pick for them. That Hackney hardpoint is not a good one for Toronto, so don't let it happen, boys. Get the win here, and you push that game 5 where you know you've got the advantage. But hey, Florida, if they can get the win here, this is going to be great for them, and they're looking good so far. B-hold now early goes the way of Toronto after the opening gambit finishes.
And domination certainly can be that swing map, and again, we'll break down the stats afterwards, but it could be you know, whoever pushes this one and wins this one takes it all. A strong showing to start things off from Bant's classic Cammy. All going very, very strong here. However, they are down. Toronto trying to bite back. They've got 2 flags to their name, and they're holding tight. Bant here on the mine parts. Let's see whether we can hold it.
Here we go, a big push right through mid as Toronto now try to quell the tide. The push now from Florida. Let's have a very quick Astro Gaming listen-in with the Toronto Ultra.
Yeah, I killed the LC. You're one first side, just go. They can be in bedroom. Yo, it could be someone green. Green, dad. What is where are you?
Yeah, weak, smoke.
I'm coming B, I'm B.
Yeah, I'm waiting for left boxes. He's going left alley on me.
Don't need pick up.
One left on me, yeah. One green, nice. I'm ready,
Chance smoke P3.
Yo,
P3 slide.
Green half
I'm pointing
green half on me, dad.
Nice, point on mid here, Cam.
Do you have left?
Yeah, I left now.
I'm in green.
One's a green alley.
Green alley,
Green alley.
Two green alley.
Yeah,
Sliding out now.
I'm had
one shot. Habit's already gone.
One
Yeah, I can't see.
Going left.
We spawn P3.
It's weird
I'm
seeing
running
that
back.
without looting.
Yeah,
Hit
right
him with a
back.
nade, hit him with a nade.
Wait, I'm home P3.
Come on the tower, let's go with the tower.
Yeah, we can go
Yo.
for A.
Two
Two
back.
Yo.
Sequence.
back.
We on marks, and
What we doing here? We going for
two wood.
Zero.
I mean, see, I mean, see, I mean.
One's going green alley.
One
One's
shot,
green
one
alley.
shot.
They're just sending game.
One's gone in
He's been good every
bathrooms.
map.
P3, one shot Frosty. Absolute nade free, bro.
They have
Extra
that.
crates
Yo,
as
one
well.
more crates as well.
Tracks.
I mean,
Nade over.
We can't see.
Yeah. I don't know where he's gone.
B push, they're not pushing B.
No, we can't see your nade.
Not pushing B at all.
You want to help you B at all? No?
Bathroom's dead.
Hey, we can.
nice. We're missing one. We're missing one.
Is it? I'm
Grab
just
play C.
Yeah, back
He's
C,
back,
back
he's
C
back.
still.
If it's
Come on, come on.
Nothing P3 stunned.
Well, there we go. Clean comms from the boys of Toronto Ultra. And there we have it. Nice comms. Good to have the Astro listenings back. And of course, Chance called it before. He was like, hey man, we may be working from home, but we can do anything. And so far, so good. I was giving Cammy a lot of praise there in the break. We heard him pick up that 5 in a row. It was lovely stuff to see. But again, Phil, the slight difference between these squads. Is it possible still for Toronto to pull this back? It's 2 minutes on the clock.
I mean, certainly possible. Giving praise to people on 5 streaks. We saw, of course, Morks have a 5. We saw Havoc go on a 5 streak, as well as Cammy. So each player almost having a bit of the limelight right now. But you talk about the numbers, if you like, and we see this counting down less than 2 minutes on the clock. It's doable. But with 2 flags now firmly in the hands of the Mutineers, these guys hold this for another minute, and it's almost over. So with Mutineers now, they're digging those heels in. They're getting on those power positions, just like Morks is doing right now, and they're holding tight. They want this victory. They need this victory. And I think they're going for these respawns as well. Smoke's going down at B. See if it's effective.
It's going to be a staggered respawn there from Toronto. They're not really going to be able to make a decisive push together. And Morks is just going to cut his way through a few of them at the same time. So it doesn't really matter. Even if you got the players there to get the kills, Morks is going to find another one. There's one more player behind him. Oh, Bance, you came close, dude, because Morks was not having it. What a push that was. Finally quelled when Toronto, they've been staggered again. 2-man push now going towards B. 2 have just cleaned up right through front of bathrooms. They have to make something happen quicker and quicker, but big plays from Morks, big plays from Florida. That's going to slow it all down at every single possible turn thus far, and we could be going in a map 4, Phil, with a bit of a dark cloud over that Toronto head. Yeah,
what a weird series so far. The hardpoint heavily favouring the Mutineers. We saw the domination go absolutely wild as well. Sorry, the Search and Destroy got absolutely wild with a 6-0, and then this domination, it just seems like a little one-sided. I mean, in essence, it's pretty much exactly, you know, even to a point, and then suddenly Mutineers step it up, change the gear, and Frosty going 24 and 18. You see the slaying from Morks. It has just been a high-slaying game from Florida.
Yeah, for Florida, they've just got to keep this up, man. I mean, big change, bringing off, taking Pristini off of the main roster, bringing in Pharaoh. You have to win these maps. These are real big confidence games for you against a squad who's also going through a little bit of difficulty themselves. Morks can't get it done. Oh, go on, son, for the knife. There's only a few seconds left in the game. Give us something for the highlight reels. But again, for this team, it's a wonderful thing to see them picking up these wins. Rebuilding the squad from the ground up is difficult enough, and the same thing can be said for Toronto, man. I mean, there's just a huge roster. They have to find that winning formula, and now that we're back in the swing of things with the league, it's putting it to the test. And so far, we haven't got any definitive results, I think, Phil.
It's a tough one. It certainly is. Honestly, I had the game volume so high there at the end I could hardly hear you, Miles. But we're all adjusting. We're all adjusting. So apologies there if I'm completely ignoring any question you were answering.
It's okay.
But a great show in there once again on the respawns. And it took a little while. Don't get me wrong. The hardpoint was a bit more convincing, but the domination, I feel like it was very back and forth. There was a chance. There was a hope almost for Toronto, but the Mutineers just once more just nullified that, stopped that in the tracks. And going forward, we talked about it. We've got another respawn coming up. It's going to be hardpoint, and Toronto's record on this is, I mean, it couldn't be worse. It's 0-3. They've lost to Chicago, they've lost to Minnesota, and they've lost to Paris. Are they going to lose to Mutineers in a 3-1? Hopefully not.
It's going to be a very, very difficult thing to be done. Here we go, though. Let's talk a little bit about the Challengers circuit coming up soon, and of course I think the Sim circuit as well. It's going to be a very, very exciting time to be a COD player from home. And again, with this whole global pandemic, friends, there is no better time to be indoors playing video games. And hey, man, even making a bit of cash out of it at the same time. Very, very exciting time. I know, if anything, I feel like us gamers have been preparing for this almost our entire lives. So props to everyone. Get involved. Do what you possibly can to make the most of this very, very difficult situation, staying as safe as you possibly can. Well, yes, Phil, a hard point as we roll into that next map. 174, 150 is the domination score if you have just joined us, and it is A tough one for the Toronto Ultra squad now as they go on to possibly one of their worst maps, worst combinations in that hardpoint on Hackney and Phil. I mean, is there anything you see them try and turn around here?
I think we need to see something drastically different, but I will say there's been a long time. This whole down period has been a time to improve, time to change. And the one, when I looked at this map set, this was the one map I was looking at, map 4, where it's a super strong one for Florida. But again, those stats are with a different player. Toronto, this is a weak one for them, but again, this is with a different team. So how much the stats really come into it? We're in completely different environments. People obviously playing from home. It's different for everyone. I'm hoping that we still get, of course, a close game. But if you look at the stats, if you look at the numbers, it does favor Florida. And the reason that we highlight that is if Toronto come in and smash it out the park, I want to be able to almost celebrate that and kind of talk about how well and what they've done differently. But you look at this, Miles, and you look at this as potentially a 3-1 victory for Florida. But don't rule them out. If Toronto can push it to that final search and destroy, that's where the numbers change, and it does go in their favor. I'm hoping for another Game 5. Who isn't at this point?
Well, mate,
it's going to be fun.
They've got to turn something big around though on this map. But hey, that's what you do with team changes. That could be the winning formula for them to finally break the curse here on Hackney Yard. You saw the schedule, friends. It is going to be a very long, wonderful weekend of Call of Duty. We're only 2 maps into, or two series now into our day. We're far from done, if I'm completely frank. Let's have a quick look at that bracket as well as the game now gets underway, friends. We're ready to rock and roll into map number 4 here of the Florida Mutineers going up against the Toronto Ultra. Hashtag #SuUltra. I don't quite know how to say that hashtag, Phil, to be frank, mate.
Nailed it.
I think that might be it. I know for a fact, though, that a huge amount, and I'm going to say huge amount, I know for a guaranteed too, but there's a lot of Toronto fans in the production team. They truly love the Ultra. I know there's a couple of hats being worn right now. There's some T-shirts out and about. And at home, we saw in our meeting this morning, everyone's face cams on, as we're ready now to rock and or roll, a little bit of both, into Hackney Yard hardpoint. Phil, a must-win now for Toronto. This is series point for Florida.
Yeah, and again, pointing out the success that the Mutineers have found on this is where we talk about those aggressive subs and that shouts and screams Pressini. Again, I'm very, very keen to see what Pharaoh brings to the table once more, but it seems like the team are very comfortable. Havoc find himself a nice double and a hit marker, it seems, on the Semtex, but 3 is all he's going to get to kick things off. 3 is what it will happily take. And of course, when we talk Hackney Yard hardpoint, rotations are so important. We know it, we love it, we kind of hate it at the same time. But the Mutineers, they'll be wanting to hold this line going into that rotation.
Here we go. Tough ones again. We talk about this hardpoint. First opening hardpoint's always a bit of a flurry, a bit of a melee. They're on point. Can up top to try to push these players back. Not enough, mate. Frosty's just a little too hot on the trigger there, then MP5. It's the second hard point here on Hackney Yard. It's so dangerous. That far right-hand side of the map, tire shop, do what you can to guarantee a position there, and that's what Skies is doing for his team right now. Number 2, Havoc maybe cleaning folks up before he gets, sent to the chiropractor there by Cammy. That number 2 person on the minimap on the far right-hand side, that Skies, making sure that his teammates are spawning on the right-hand side of the map. 6 seconds time, that hard point pops up, and they can start to reap the rewards of that solid play.
So, what did Toronto need to start things off strong? It was a hard point like that, but they've got to break into this, and this is where it's going to be difficult. You see Havoc there just holding the lines that we're pushing out as well. Second to his name, as we do see 48-10. We've seen it many a time. Very back and forth when we talk about Hackney Yard. A nice clean swoop. Look at that kill feed there. Incredible stuff here for Toronto. We see the spawns coming in for the Mutineers, though still at the back. One more wave, and Cammy finding 3. Classic finding the 4th, and I tell you what, it is an absolute bloodbath at the back of that truck. I tell you what, it's something different. I don't know how it's even gone this far. Somehow, Mutineers still in control.
Still in control.
Not anymore.
There it is, only just, man. I thought Frosty, I think if he wins one more gunfight, his teammates would have possibly spawned in. I think I didn't quite catch the full timing on that play, but man, you got to do a lot of work. You have to absolutely put your life into it to get those players out of the spawns there on the back of tires. Oh boy, here we go. Third hard point though, towards the center of the map. It is going to be smokestacks. Morks is lined up in position there to watch the play through middle. Skies as well. That's what Morks is doing, is he's managed to get one. Unfortunately taken down by his teammate there, but nonetheless, the hard point now flips over. Havoc in prime position to be picking up the time. His teammates now be watching over there. They have to watch that push through middle. Frosty trying to find something in from behind, but it looks like they have managed to cut across. Pharaoh taken down in a hail of gunfire. Now there's going to be a 2-pronged attack from the top of the map to the bottom of the map. Havoc's got to divert his resources while still maintaining that hardpoint time. They're going to dip off for the time being and allow this push to unfold. Get those kills, hold on that hardpoint, try to keep Toronto away.
Oh, shaky shots, but Havoc gets it done in the end. There was no trophy system down on the hard point, which was, you know, just welcoming all those projectiles. But Havoc's going to jump back on, try and get himself a couple more points and level up the playing field. We're, of course, going to bottom green. Check out that mini-map once more. You see Toronto rotating to it. Frosty finds himself in a bit of trouble. And the Semtex to himself will only find bad news. But with the last 10 going in the way of the Mutineers, a very, very close game. All tied up pretty much here as Vance steals those last 5.
Not wrong there, Phil. I mean, it was the trophies that really managed to hurt Florida there. Needs a plenty from everyone. Vance not able to get any more kills out of this one over towards the office now. We go down low, very, very close spaces to work with. Very, very difficult to break in. It's a couple of doorways, and it turns into an absolute fiesta there on point. Those submachine guns can be running the MP5 on your screen. You should see plenty of those in this squad, and it's going to be very, very useful in these close engagements. Watch for the utility to be thrown through those side doors as well. You want to flash and clear, and you can see from above the push now slowly but surely developing there for the players of the Mutineers. Managed to get 2 on the inside. The gunfight's now taking place down low. Ferro will be going down, and the numbers seem to be working out. It's all to Havoc now, the last member left. As his teammates now trying to get close. The shots are there, but not enough to get the kills. Mork's up over the top wall, trying to provide coverage as well. But again, it's those numbers there from Toronto. On point, up close, winning those engagements. Back and forth they go. Slip sliding all over the place. Say, that's what we like to see, as they manage to take a sizable chunk of time there from the office film.
Yeah, it's certainly funny to see how it differs from map to map. You talk about Ramaza and how you can see the dominance of the life of Skies and the assault rifle when it's put on something like Hackney. It's a lot harder for a job, and you see that in the stats there, just kind of not picking up those interactions that it'd like. But Toronto, 120 now and climbing. But we see the Mutineers in full control. They've got control of the blue van. They've got control of the boxes on the flip side here. This is a very hard one to break, and there's quite a few entrances, of course, left, right, straight through the middle. But of course, you can have that elevation. You see just up top, talking of elevation, there he is Classic, who's going to be traded. Pharaoh's going to be traded out back and forth as well. But all said and done, all this time at the moment was going into the hands of Mutineers with 30 seconds left. It looks like it's going to be a one-on-one battle between Skies and whoever's knocking at the door downstairs.
Go. Classic. This guy's going to dip in and out and go for it, but now Classic's going to win the fight. And I take everything back. All this bad juju we had about Toronto, this not being a good game type for them, this not being a good map for them, and so far, this is great. 140 in climbing. Florida have just been silent so far. Can they keep this going? Final few seconds of the hard point going the way of Toronto. Over towards the next rotation we go into the hands of Florida. What have they got though? Can they maintain this presence? I don't think so. That's a 4-man push through the back now with spawns claimed for the Toronto Ultra. This is a great spot for the Canadians.
Certainly is here, 50 points in the lead, but plenty of time still to go, and we talked about this going in, how it was kind of a weaker map and mode combination for them. But Toronto have really kind of brought something different to the table, and I tell you what, Band's finding a big kill there. Havoc, Skies, and Pharaoh answering back and shutting things down. Now, at the very start of this game, we saw the spawns being controlled, of course, given to them almost at the start was Mutineers. Roles reversed now. The Mutineers, they're in control of this hard point. They are going to be able to control the warehouse here, and it seems like they're going to be doing that pretty effortlessly. But how does this rotation to that second hard point, that back house go? Methods pushing through now, trying to find something here, but with 15 seconds, you want to be holding this spot.
It's not looking that great right now. Again, the Floridians have got to push their way out. Those Florida mans do what they can on this hard point. The push, though, the break has got to be so clean to get themselves closer and closer towards, you know, tying things up. But it's not quite going to be enough as now the break goes. 2 players now trying to find their way through the right. The gunfight from Classic, 1 through middle. Frosty up next as he tries to make his way forward. Now through the smoke he emerges. There's 1. Frosty almost managing to get the second, but his teammate's going to back him up. The numbers now starting to run out for Toronto. Keep those reinforcements coming in close. Methods up top. Nades now going out and about as they do exactly what they can to just keep this position held. Cammy loses the fight down low. Watch that push, though, still through the side, the left-hand side of the map. That's where it's all going down as 30 seconds remain, and Toronto have held strong. What's that all about? I didn't think we were going to be seeing that. I was expecting a cleaner break from Florida.
I tell you what, so was I. I was looking for Florida just to kind of push on through. Skies, though, having a bit of an off-map, it seems, at 8 and 16. Pharaoh, though, 26 kills to his name. Is he going to be able to? Oh, my goodness. Shaky shots from Classic, but it's a 2v1 at the end of the day. And with 10 points still remaining, that is going to go in the way of Toronto. We said it at the start, you just joined us, of course. Florida lead 2-1. To close things out on a 3 respawn victory, they need to take it here. Toronto trying to push it to that game 5, that search and destroy, which we've already seen them dominate in map number 2.
That'd be so good for them as well. I mean, that's the way they want to go. Cammy right through mid. Not we get a whole lot done. Mid-map presence really being felt right now. But again, echoing what happened in the first set of rotations as well. Early holds here from Florida. They do a great job here on Smokestack. Then when we go towards the office, that's where Toronto really shine. A little bit of a change of hands now as Frosty just has to get off that for a moment, give it up. Oh no, he's not going to get it back, is he? He's not going to get it back as he's cut down in a hail of gunfire. Skies doing what he can to bring himself back into this game.
Wow.
And he's just brought off the hard point. Not able to get a whole lot done there as Pharaoh also fighting tooth and nail, trying to reclaim that mid-map position. Frosty now from up high cleaned up as well. We are looking at like a flip though for the boys of the Florida Mutineers to the next hard point. Havoc's in here. We've got, I believe, Morks is above him upstairs, so it looks to be a solid hold as we flip over in the next 10 seconds. But Phil, anything can happen right now.
Certainly can, and I think the next rotation, this next hard point down low in green, is going to be one which really can just solidify the game. I think it's a must-win, of course, for both teams. It almost feels Havoc with a nice double there coming in with the cluster, and we are going to see Cammy spawning in the warehouse. He's going to have to make his way across the map, but Sky's in classic exchanging blows. If Sky's got to turn up, this is the time to do it. He's only got 16 kills to his name, but he can end certainly in a different way. Back and forth though as Bant's trying to find something. It's absolute chaos here downstairs in green. And it looks like Toronto pushing from the middle here. They're going to try and infiltrate and keep those spawns.
But it's just pandemonium. I mean, every single time you change perspective to another player, they're just getting blown up or ripped to pieces. Metal's now over the top. He's trying to catch something here, but they just keep charging each other, and Havoc finds two. Sky's there on point, making it work as well. We're getting closer and closer and closer for Florida now. This is far, far from over, but again, 15 seconds remain. Plenty of time now to get themselves back into this. Method's got to take control now of this position. No, it's not going to happen. The rotation towards the final hard point in this second set. This saga continues. We're not going to be tied up, but we're getting closer. Skies trying to edge his way forward as well. We do have a hard point in the hands of Toronto. Such a difficult hard point to break as well. Maybe even harder than the tire shop here on this map. And the break now is going to be clean. Here we go, Frosty. Right through the front, cut down. His teammates ripped to shreds. All four of them dead. It comes down to Morks on his own on the back. Wait for his teammates to spawn? Maybe. Buy some space for his time? Maybe. Has he got a bit of help? He does. Frosty's there on the point. We may see a flip. The reinforcements now for Toronto. As they charge in, they're getting cut down in a hail of gunfire as well. And it is getting closer and closer. Phil Bant stays alive. Are they going to win it here? 10 seconds for the win.
I'll tell you what, they can do, but it's going to be contested once more. These spawns have been absolutely insane. You see the kill feed just constant back and forth here, and rotation for Methods will be put in his hands. Do they even need this? They don't. They can give this up. They can set up, and they will do over by the warehouse. One player still going for it. Metal's going to be shut down, so the last 10 is going to go in the hands of the Mutineers, but they need a break. They need to do it now. Frosty on your screen. A quick reload, and he's going to go right back at it, but he's going to be jumping into the lines then, it seems, as Bance finds a double. We are going to see Cammy shut down one, Metals with another, and this is where it should end.
That's got to be where it ends. Here we go, Toronto force the game 5. Big shots, huge plays in the docks building, pushes it to an easy hold there in the warehouse. And boys and girls, the COD League's back online. You got yourselves 2 best-of-5 series back-to-back. Here we go. Oh no, Florida! You had one chance to really close this one out, and it may have been then. Are they going to be able to do anything in this search and destroy?
Oh, that was it. That was an interesting one for sure. There was so much kind of going on. I started calling Semtex clusters. I was getting all flustered, and honestly, at the end, it was back and forth. It was an absolute bloodbath. You love to see that kind of stuff. But again, I said at the very start of this was not a good map and mode for Toronto. For them to kind of come out here and show us how they've changed, how they've adapted to something like that. It's great to kind of see a team push back and, you know, throw the numbers out the window, if that makes sense. And with Search and Destroy coming up next, it's going to be our second best of 5, going all the distance, of course. We're only 2 series in, and it's going to be an interesting day. It could be a long day, Miles.
What a day, mate. Here we've got Classic. He's going to be our US Army tactical play. Classic going on a tear. Big fan of his work. He has been an absolute standout for the squad today. It's been wonderful to see him play, and this was a good run. Honestly, mate, this is where you throw the expectations out the window. Toronto have not been holding their own in the respawns in the same way. They managed to break their own record there on Hackney Yard and finally find a big win, especially when they need it. And now we roll into the Search and Destroy. Now we roll into the magic stuff. This is going to be some good series. Oh boy, here we go, Phil. I think I'm going to be thrown into a break in a moment, mate. I'm sorry, I left you kind of hanging there, brother. Sorry, mate, I set you up for failure.
I thought it was going to a break. It will be going to a break, but it's coming back to us, I believe. And again, it's adjusting. Everyone's adjusting to it. I hope you guys are just enjoying just seeing some COD back on your screens.
It's very good to have COD back on our screens, devices, whether you've got the best seats in the house or you're on the toilet. We will see you, friends, after this break. Round 11. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the COD League. It's obviously our Game 5 of the series here between Florida and Toronto. But before that, we have our pick of the day brought to you by Grubhub. Of course, Phil, trying times, my friend, trying times. We're not allowed to leave the house, barely able to get to the store to buy food and whatnot, but Grubhub is doing what it can to help small business survive during this very difficult time. So everyone can actually still get involved in that one. If you go to Grubhub now, you can actually get $10 off orders of $30 or more every day from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. Do what you can, support the local restaurants you know and love, do what you can to keep everyone safe during this trying time. You can find that deal under the perks section of the app. Phil, have you ordered a lot of food since being trapped indoors? I know I have.
So I've dabbled in it, and I will say it's absolutely come in clutch a few times. Must needed. The cravings have been real, but I think, of course, the most important thing: staying safe, staying indoors, staying at home. And again, just enjoying the fact that you can do what you love, play video games, as well as getting some tasty grub on the way. But it's certainly come in clutch a few times, Miles.
Mate, I cannot say. I mean, clutch is one way of putting it. When my wife and I first got here to LA, the very first thing we had tried to do was go and buy food. There was nothing in the stores. The shelves were empty. We got back to this apartment. We were like, we are going to die tonight, or if we don't get something. And luckily, we actually jumped on Grubhub and we got ourselves some food, and it was incredible. We literally went straight to local spot called Organico. We had this amazing chicken burrito. It was fantastic. It literally saved our lives. So shout out to Grubhub for literally saving our lives.
Wow.
It was wicked. If that's a plug of all plugs. They actually did us the biggest solid of all time. So seriously, shout out to Grubhub and everyone who's staying open and businesses running during this COVID-19 crazy global pandemic.
Incredible stuff. Saving lives. Put that on your CV.
I never thought a chicken burrito would be the thing.
Never thought it would be. But no, we're 4 maps in. We've, of course, got one more to go between Florida and Toronto. We see, obviously, a difference in rosters in both sides. I think it's interesting to see what they've brought to the table. Going into this again, traditionally, we've seen the search and destroys go kind of back and forth. But that first S&D that we saw between these two teams was so clean, so concise, a quick 6-0 in favor of Toronto. Can you see this kind of going any other way? Like, what's the deal with Florida right now?
Dude, the deal with Florida right now, I mean, I just want to bring up the maps again. I've got to do all this on my phone because I'm standing up at this point in time, but I just think it even depends on, I'm not even sure if the map makes a difference. If there's Ramaz, I don't know if the map is going to make a massive difference. Sure, they managed to, they ran the hard point quite well.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just the execution right now from Toronto. How many first bloods they got? I think it was, they got the opening 3, or the opening 3 without failure. Obviously, if they get first blood, they basically win the round every time on Gunrunner. Is that going to be the same in Ramaza? Is the timing from Cammy going to be just as good on every single offensive round where he manages to get those first kills? Probably. I would be surprised if it doesn't. Is he going to drop another 10 kills? Maybe not. But mate, I don't see a huge difference here. I don't see a major difference. I still think this is a very, very favourable setup for Toronto, man. I think they're good. I think that's sweet.
I think, of course, just winning the hard point as well, which, you know, kind of further solidifies how good this team is right now. They're looking strong. Talking to Cammy there, dropped 32 in that last game as well. So a nice 30 bomb gives him all the confidence in the world going into this search and destroy. Again, the domination, it wasn't kind of that much of a difference. It wasn't a one-sided affair by any means. It looked like Mutineers were in control for the majority of it. But judging by that first search and destroy, you've kind of got to be edging towards Toronto. I know these guys are all about their social media. Very, very funny, going back and forth between the teams. And it's interesting to see Toronto. I'm interested to see whether they win or lose what they post on social media, but it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be another 6-0, Miles.
6-0 would be. If 2 6-0s in a series, I think we've only seen one of those thus far in Modern Warfare, and I don't think we have actually seen the 2 6-0s in a series. Not from memory. So Chance will have that in his book somewhere. But that I think that could possibly happen. I know you're saying it's unlikely that they go back-to-back clean search rounds in a single series, but I think it's still possible. I think the way Toronto looks now is great. It's squeaky clean, especially the
100%.
search, man. And we talk about it. It seems counterintuitive to have Ferro join the squad, who is a search and destroy wizard. I just don't really see how they managed to pull that one back. We are just getting a quick update, friends. There is a slight delay with the series so far. That 6-0 dream is dead. It is 1-0 to Florida thus far in the search and destroy. We'll get that information to you and as soon as possible. We'll get that feed to you as soon as possible. Well, we thank you for bearing with us during these trying times. Wash your hands. Don't touch your faces. Everyone stay safe. That's all I'm saying, all right?
Yeah, I believe the game, of course, has already started, like you outlined there, Miles. I was watching for it. I was waiting for it. I can still see the scoreboard of the previous game, but we're going to be jumping into it. I believe the Mutineers, of course, I know the Mutineers are 1-0 up, but we're going to be jumping into it shortly. Miles, I don't know if you can see it. I hope you can.
Mate, I can. And you know what? I'm not sad or disappointed. I'm surprised. I'm excited to see how this one goes because, again, we've got Florida right off the rip winning the first round, and they've got it's a one-man advantage right now. 3 mans up for Florida, as they manage now to arm that bomb. And here we go. Florida man plants explosives in a marketplace in downtown Ramaza.
Yeah, one of the more interesting storylines, I would say. Brought to you by Miles, the professional TV presenter, apparently. But again, we might have missed the first couple of rounds, but Mutineers, they have come out with a different game plan than map number 2. I like how it does show their victim in the top right. That one being Bance, the final player to go down for Toronto. But as what it feels like we're jumping into the first time, it's going to be round number 3. Toronto now on the defense here.
Here we go, right off the rip. We'll have a look at that mini-map.
Offense, should I say.
Off the offense now for Toronto Ultra as they punch through the middle of the map. That bomb possibly making its way towards the B side. It's going through the bottom cafe now. Methods trying to line up, make safe that position. No one really spot there to stop it. Ferro's actually going to get the kill. Havoc watching the cross, easy peasy for him as he finds himself another kill. Any more there as he slips back into the conflict zone. Ferro now trying to reinforce those players, finding angles there in the courtyard. Havoc not able to get any more out of it as Classic actually finds himself his second, and Cammy gets involved as well. So now Toronto bite back.
Bite back, but it's gone a little bit slow. Everyone's starting to use that left trigger. Aim on in. It's going to be traded once more. Ferro finally goes down. And Ultra will get their first win of the map. It's 2-1. I think an important one. You don't want to get things going out of hand. It was all looking so good for the Mutineers, but Classic with that final kill onto Ferro. Yeah,
great positioning as well from Classic. He gets the spot from up top. He goes downstairs just in case his teammate doesn't manage to find it. And regardless, that player from the Mutineers runs downstairs after finding the first shot into the hands of Cammy. We answer back and make it an even Stevens matchup. Here we go. Offensive round now for the Mutineers. It's 2-1 is going to be the scoreline so far. Skies with a nice opening. He's been a bit quiet this series. We've given Skies so much love online, so much love previously before the outbreak, and at 4-2 so far. Can't be too disappointed there. Metals as well, 5-1. Methods yet to get anything there on the board, but hey, early days so far. Havoc just on top of the barbed wire fence there. It's a very sneaky spot to be in, and Bans falls prey to that trick. Not a great way to start this map for him, but hey, here we go. Skies and Walks now getting lit up as they push their way forward. 2 members left for Toronto Ultra. It comes to Classic and Methods.
Yeah, Classic popping the dead silence, sneakily opening that door, just a little squeak as he tippy-toes through the middle of the map here and tries to get a bit of a better position, but he certainly needs it. Him and Methods, the last 2 alive now. Methods does deal with Ferro, so in a 2v3. Not great, but it's a better situation than it was.
Oh.
A much better
at all.
situation.
They've pulled it back to a 2v2. Skies now and Havoc, they both have dead silence. 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Got to retake the bomb. Dead silence almost finished now for Skies. He's going to make his way forward. Now it comes down to Methods. Right up top. Punches his way through. Wins the gunfight. Now it's a 1v1. Skies is going to quickly get the arm down now, but his Methods, he's made the read. He's going to go through. That stun's going to give it away. Now's the push. One push right through. Big damage. Skies going to make a run for it. And Methods, what's he going to do? He's got to win this.
Silence as well.
Oh, no!
Checks the corner at the wrong time. COD timing at its finest, it seems there. Unfortunately, let's see it from Skies' point of view. I want to see the little quick change. He was looking and a quick turn to his right. And Skies gets a nice free kill, it seems.
It does seem free, doesn't it? It's so unfortunate, man. I mean, Methods, he does everything right there. He gets the stun through, wins his gunfight on top of Cafe. And it comes down to it. It's just looking left, looking right. I mean, that's just what happens, man. That's the way the cookie crumbles here in COD. Frosty now on offense. The bomb is going to be in the hands of... Oh, sorry. The Toronto Ultra is going to be on the offense. Classic is going to be that bomb carrier. Poo, excuse me. As we roll forward. Making their way slowly in towards the bottom of construction. It's going to be a bit of a battle here by top rugs. Havoc's going to be the first line for the Florida Mutineers. He gets flattened by Methods there. The first blood goes to Toronto.
Yeah, very strong info there. In favour of that SMG, but Methods makes light work of Havoc as Norks does advance the headshot come through. It should be traded, I say should, and it will. Methods finds his second, but that's all he's going to find this round as Skies levels the playing field. Now a 2v3 advantage to Ultra.
Yeah, solid advantage. Skies, though, trying to find something here. That position is great. Can catch Metals. If Metals just gets a little curious, he's going to peek forward and catch something. Catch a couple of bullets from Skies. Dead Silence ready to rock and roll if he wants it. Oh, what a kill on a Cammy then. In and out, shakes it all about. He will be able to do the hokey pokey, and can he get another? No, he's slipping it. Oh, Skies! He had Metals there dead to rights. That's so unfortunate. And Toronto with a win there, making it 2-3. Oh man, the timing. It's just, you just, oh. Turn back. Just half a second and not let go of that ADS.
Skies' movement was beautiful. Skies was kind of dipping and dodging around there, and I think if he finds that player up top, the round certainly could have gone the other way, but I knew this wasn't going to be 6-0. I don't know how close this is going to be, though. We, of course, would love the Game 5, Round 11. We've already seen it once today. Can we continue with the trend? Mutineers, of course, up by 1. Skies 8 kills to his name. I've seen any snipers, interestingly enough.
Oh, we get the occasional snipe here on Ramazu. It's not uncommon.
I mean, just in this game.
Oh, we saw Ferro run it for like half a second on Gunrunner before he was just, you know, skinned alive by the might of Toronto Ultra. Here we go, though. Slow and steady push through middles. Sorry, through the catwalk. Cammy's about to run into a whole heap of trouble, but ooh, Trouble was almost his middle name, but we'll have to settle for a dodgy nickname that his mates gave him at school for now as he goes down after the trade. Sky's back up in position and top construction, trying to find a semblance of control here as his teammates try to bring that bomb in towards A. Gonna find one more kill potentially and then go for it, but you got to check those corners well now because that open sight down low, very, very dangerous spot to be in. 3v4 right now, Florida disadvantage.
Pistol coming out for Classic, MP5 of course for Metals, and suddenly it's looking a lot sweeter for Ultra. 4 versus 1. Dead Silence vision for Classic and Metals.
Oh, Metals.
That's going to clean up the 6th round. All tied up 3-3.
Yeah, Metals has been just slapping him about now. He's really putting on a show, and that turning point for us could have been when, you know, Skies doesn't manage to get that kill there in round 3 where he's sitting bottom stairs, he's preempting him the whole time. Metals goes on and finds 2 more kills or win the round. Now you're all tied up 3-3. Where do we go from here?
Well, as the sun glares down on Ramada and the boys in purple, they repeatedly tap triangle.
Hashtag Sue Ultra. Hashtag, oh my god, Sue Ultra right now. That's 8-2. That is So Ultra.
Well, So Ultra might be fearing the deep as Havoc comes from beneath, finds 2, and it's going to be a 3v3 after a little bit of a massacre has gone in no favour, it seems. Bomb in the hands of Metals, 10 kills to his name, great to see so far. It was Cammy in the first search and destroy, Metals stepping it up in the final one.
Oh, Metals is just untouchable right now. He's going to go back for this one. Nades up, just to by that time get his health regen through, but right at this point in time, 10 kills to his name. Keep him going, dude. Just feed the man. I don't know what the Spanish is for unstoppable, but we're getting there. Slowly but surely. Cammy with a nice bit of top control here. Opens positions of the map. Methods is going to find a kill on a Frosty. That's brilliant. That's a 3v2 right now. Bomb's going to be going down there at A. Morks. Oh, he takes a couple of shots. He's going to get himself in a world of trouble. Cammy from up high, and then Ferro now will do what he can to stop Metals. Can he find 2 more out of this one? Nay. Cammy gets him, cleans it up, and that's 4-3. The lead now in Toronto's hands. And will they stop, Phil? Will they stop? Will they be silenced? Probably not.
They might be for now, but we've got a couple more rounds potentially still to go here. And again, just kind of thinking about that round, it was through the crack of the door. I think it was Morks who tried to find something. He didn't. He shot his weapon, revealed his location, was punished for that.
It's so hard, man. 5v5 is so hard. You have to. You got to get the kills early and fast. Your teammates have to be in a position to get the trades for you. You're right, though. Morks answered first and was killed straight away. And there you go. Done and dusted.
Wasn't able to pick that kill up, but we're going to see mid-map dominance here for all the Mutineers. They edge their way over towards a bomb site. See what they can choose, but the door's open. Knock, knock. Who's there? It's 3 of the Mutineers, and Classic says, nope, don't like that joke.
Oh, Classic. Right. He didn't even try to shut the door. He was just like, I am so dead. It's like we've all been there. There are 3 on me! He gets smoked. Ferro, though, finds 2. Dead Silence still rocking and rolling for him. Metals is the last one left alive. Ferro and Frosty now. The sweet little FF combo as they now dance around Metals. And I think they know where he is. And it's up to Ferro now. That Dead Silence play is about to come to a close. He's going to start thumping around the map again. But in the meantime, his teammate Frosty has shot across map and is now arming the bomb over on the A site. So Metals has got now walk through mid-map. Ferro guessed wrong, sadly, on the push from Metals. And it's going to let Metals get a lot closer. And in this situation, there's a small chance he could take care of Frosty on his own, and then it becomes a 1v1, but he has to win this engagement.
I think that's the deal. He has to win this engagement and really just kind of go a bit balls to the walls. He finds one, and now the pressure almost onto Pharaoh, and I tell you what, this could be something special. You're 4-3 up. You've just made a 1v2, and Pharaoh makes the mistake of not checking the bomb.
Oh my God.
That's going to be one that hurts because it's not leveling up the playing field. It's now 5-3. Metals, though. Balls of steel.
Just metal, balls of metal, if you will, my friend. Oh, you know what, though? Imagine that. The crowd would have been screaming. They'd have all been roaring about that diffuse going down. But hey, we don't have to worry about that right now as I sit in my apartment in Los Angeles. There we go, mate. What a great round that was. Oh, no. Florida. I mean, do you know it was coming? What do we do from here? This is match point. This is it for the series. One more round for Toronto. 12-3 for Metals, the absolute hero for his team here. Once again, through middle we go. Bottom Cafe. Classic. On the other side of the door, quite literally this time, smokes up, makes the clear right on through, but he may have just caught that player from behind. Wonderful work. Frosty goes down. Now they clean out the gun shop. Now they take control of the site. The gunfights are there. Bance has got Pharaoh. It's starting to fall apart at the seams. This is it. Bomb's going to be going down. You just have to isolate these fights. And Metals! Ooh, Skies knocks his teeth out! Skies gets another kill on the Classic as well, so this is going to be a safe site for the time being. The bomb didn't go down.
The health regenerates. It's a 3v1. It's a 3v0. And Toronto Ultra take the map, take the series, and take both search and destroys here in this one. I tell you what, S&D is a key factor, and Ultra, they look strong.
Oh, they look wonderful in the search and destroys. I mean, I think that was 5 rounds straight, 6 rounds straight. I mean, once they managed to get themselves out of the gate, actually it was 6 rounds back-to-back because it was 2-0 Florida. Oh boy, we basically got the 6-0. We basically got the 6-0 whether we wanted it or not. Exceptional stuff from Toronto, Phil. Cannot be disappointed with the search and destroy. Hardpoint has a little bit left to be desired here, but once they have a more, let's say, well-rounded, maybe more practiced team to play against here in the competition, that's where it's going to get a bit nastier for them. But until then, mate, can't be disappointed as a Toronto fan. I know there's a lot of them out there smiling from ear to ear.
It was always going to be a testing game for both teams with the roster changes and what was going into this, and I think it's important when you change that roster, you kind of get off to a good start. Yes, I know, this was already done in LA, but this is different. It almost feels like, we've talked about it, Miles, you're almost resetting once again. It feels like the start of the CDL almost. You want to get off to a great start, and I think for Toronto, they can build upon this. But again, close game, game 5, tough game by all means, but 2 game 5s, that's what you love to see so far.
Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Nonetheless, from Toronto, they can hold their heads higher for their first online series here in the CDL comes to a close. We come back after the break, friends. More Call of Duty League action, friends. Tons and tons of games coming our way, and I hope the first 2 series were a joy for you. When we come back after this break, even more COD action. I hope you're comfortable. Stay safe. Wash your hands.